How's it going, guys? It's Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern, of course, so it's time for the Tuesday night live stream. I've got tons of books. Like I said, I don't know why I keep accumulating things to show, and yeah, we got a lot of books to show tonight. So before, as usual, we get into the books, though, I want to get into the live chat. We got Mr. Gretzky9966. What is going on, man? Always great to see that little smurf right there in the chat. We got Scott Evans. He says, pausing the Modern Men replay to catch this live. Big thanks, Scott, for watching Modern Men. If you guys didn't get a chance to watch that, I did put the link to last night's episode down below, so you can watch it right after this if you'd like. We had a lot of fun reviewing Hulk, Future, and Perfect, and we actually took an idea from Scott Evans on the Comic Core Discord for the topic of the second half of that show. So big thanks for that, Scott, and your feedback on Hulk, Future, and Perfect, of course, as well. We got bad news, Chris Barrett. He says he's arrived. Thought that was Big Will's line. But anyway, Chris Barrett's in the chat. And we got Luis Ramirez. What's going on, man? Nice to see you in the chat, as well as Warlord. What is going on, Warlord? I remember that guy, Warlord, from WWF way back in the day. Chris Barrett says, I thought you were trying to thin my collection. Yeah, you know how that goes. But we're just going to get right into the books because I got a whole bunch of stuff to show. Plus, I almost forgot, I sorted out my top 10 Copper books with a whole bunch of honorable mentions. So we're going to continue the countdowns because Not Near Mint, Rob Worst has inspired me to do the countdowns. So we did modern books last week. So I figured why not visit maybe one of the best ages there is, the Copper Age. I don't know, like the new modern stuff, but the Copper, that's where it all started, in my opinion, on the really good reads. So we'll get into that in a little while, but we're going to rapid fire a whole bunch of books here. So, yeah, we'll go ahead and start with this eBay haul I got. I actually got a bunch of Marvel graphic novels, which I don't have a lot of these at all in the collection, and I saw these for pretty cheap. It was one of those deals where you put in a low bid, no one else found this auction, and somehow they were at my door. So that was pretty cool. And like I said, I don't know if these reprint previously printed stories in floppy form into the graphic novel stuff. I'm not sure, but we'll just go ahead and show them. We got Power Pack and Cloak and Dagger, Shelter from the Storm. I know not too much about this book. Don't know much about Power Pack or Cloak and Dagger, but hey, it was in the lot, so now I own it. Figured Andy would like this one. We got The Punisher, Assassin's Guild by Joe Duffy and some others on the art. And yeah, like I said, I don't collect a lot of Punisher nor graphic novels, but the art actually looks kind of cool on the inside. So this is definitely a book I've never seen before. Here's one I've seen a couple times and always kind of wanted. She-Hulk by John Byrne in the graphic novel form. So really awesome art on the inside of this. I don't think this is the first printing, though. A lot of these are multiple printings, I believe. Yeah, this one is the fourth printing, but you know, they're pretty much exactly the same except for the indica on the inside. But yeah, just some great art, of course, on the inside. It's John Byrne She-Hulk from the 80s. What's not to love there? So definitely really awesome stuff. We got Dazzler the movie. So some awesome Bill Sienkiewicz artwork on this one. I saw this in the lot. I figured if I get this cheap, I would definitely pick this one up. But yeah, this one looked really cool as well. It looks really amazing on the inside. I really like this format. I know I kind of wish Marvel would do something like this at some point, but not to the point where DC's kind of did their Black Label stuff and more or less ran that idea into the ground. We got Spider-Man Parallel Lives, another really cool looking book. Once again, I think this was the first edition technically, for what that's worth. So there's that. We got Silver Surfer Judgment Day. Some cool Joe Jusko art on there. Stanley story on the inside. And then the last one, I kind of forgot this wasn't the first print, but it's good to have another copy of this in the collection. This is a fourth printing of the New Mutants #1. Well, not #1, but New Mutants Marvel graphic novel number 4, the reprints the first appearance of the New Mutants. So I do have the first printing, and it's just not as good quality as this one. But thought that was pretty cool for like a few bucks. So at one point before the movie and all the hype train got derailed, decliffed, none of those printings were that easy to find. So before we get into the my really fun turtle haul I got this week, let's hop back into the chat. We got some more people joining us here. We got Comic Man Andy. What's going on, Andy? He was on that Modern Men last night, so definitely check that out. Description below. He likes Punisher, the Assassin's Guild for sure. Chris Barrett says, when did they film that Dazzler movie? I don't know, the entire 80s, basically. And then Spidey Fan, what's going on, man? He loves him some Copper Age as well. So like I said, after I show like all of these books and rapid fire them, we're going to count down my favorite top 10 Copper Age books in the collection that I actually own. Of course, I'm just spoiled for you now. There is no Turtles 1 on the list. I don't own it. It's not going on the list. Otherwise, if I owned it, it would be like all 10 spots probably. So just saying. All right, so I had found another eBay sellers doing buy it now on Turtle books. I think the average on these were about $3 a piece. And if you guys know eBay and Turtles and that stuff now, no, you can't find this stuff at all. It's really frustrating to be a turtle collector right now. So when I saw most of these books at about $3 price tag, free shipping, I hopped all over this one. And some of them are doubles for me. So like I think I have both of these volume 1s. I think this is issue 28 of volume 1. Really cool Richard Corbin stuff. Gore Vidal keeps telling me I need to read this Richard Corbin run of Turtles, which I definitely intend to at some point when I get time. But I've been saying I need time for months. Also have another copy of issue 30. Which, like I said, I think this is my 3rd or 4th copy of issue 30 as well. We got a bunch. This is almost entirely Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures comics. So unfortunately, there's no fun number 1 or any other volume 1 stuff. But hey, Adventures is still great stuff too. We got TMNT Adventure Special number 1, which I didn't know this was a thing. So I always like finding surprise books I didn't know about, especially in the realm of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. So there's Adventure Special. I don't know if this book's heating up as a part of the craze right now, but it's like my 3rd or 4th copy. But you just can't have enough turtles, right? We got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures number 1, the ongoing. Of course, it's not the mini series. That's the one that first Bebop, Rocksteady, and Krang. People are going bananas over that book, but this one I think is seeing a little bit of a rub right now because it says Adventures, it says number 1, so people are loving it. I also got issue number 2, so I don't have too much of this run. So this is a great start to building this run. There were 2 different lots, so therefore I got 2 issues of this awesome number 3, which I really like the cover on this one. So I think these are about the same quality. I just put this one in a Mylar. This one I still need to rebag, but yeah, I really like that bright green cover there. We got issue number 4 as well. And then we skip all the way to issue number 8 and then issue number 10. So like I said, I'm just very happy to be able to start building this Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures collection. Threw in 2 copies of issue number 12. So like I said, these were a combination of different lots. Issue number 16, issue number 17. And then I'm not sure what these books are. I'm going to have to look them up at some point, but they're Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Global Conquest Editions. I'm not sure if these are like your Marvel Director's Cut style reprints of the IDW run, maybe. That's my guess. But I got an issue 2 and an issue 3. But nonetheless, it's still like a cool Kevin Eastman cover on each of them. So even though I don't really know why these books exist, cool covers. Why not? Here's one you don't see every day. We've got Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1 from Dreamwave Studios. I had no idea Dreamwave worked on Turtles, but here we are. I think they released this book to capitalize on the 2003 animated series. And it's written by Peter David, so that's always pretty awesome. Next up, this is the main reason I kind of wanted to get this lot, is to start building toward getting these. It's the movie adaptation. I don't have any of the movie adaptations in the collection. And I knocked out most of them right here. So I've got the Mirage black and white adaptation of the movie. So very happy to have that. It's only got like one minor little ding on the end there. It doesn't even show up that great on camera, which is pretty cool. So I was glad to get that. I was kind of more interested in this book, but the back cover is just wrecked. Like I could even see it without taking it out of the bag. But once again, I don't see this one every day either. It is TMNT the movie, the Archie edition. So you have the Mirage, and then you have the Archie. So I have yet to open them to see what all of the differences are, but there are two versions of this. So that's pretty awesome. And then, of course, I really wanted this one. I needed to get my hands on this one before the speculators did. And I think the speculators, they're going to start grabbing these up soon, which I think, and someone can correct me if I'm wrong, I think this is technically the first appearance of Toka and Razor in printed comics, but that is the Archie Adventures Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 2 movie. And I think there's a Mirage version of this that has the exact same cover, except it's got a different colorist on it. So I'm not sure which one officially counts as the first appearance. Maybe they came out the same day. I'm not sure, but it seems like a lot of people were pointing toward the direction of this one. So it's still cheap. But Toka and Razor, spoilers, I guess, they're going to be in IDW's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles now. They debuted at the end of the last issue. So I would probably try to get this now before you see what's happening in all the other Turtle books. It's getting ugly trying to collect these things. There's just too many people wanting, like me, there's too many me's out there, basically. So, and then, of course, this thing had to be thrown in as well. But hey, that's cool. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Part 3, the movie. Not a fan of the movie, but hey, it was in the list. But you know what? I was looking at, sold listings of Part 3 on eBay because I figured the turtle craze was kind of dead by then in the 90s when this came out. But look in the corner down there. What is that? Newsstand? It's a newsstand copy. So I even tried searching for this online. I couldn't find anything on newsstands. It's probably nothing, but who knows? But it's cool to have a newsstand Turtles anything. That's like all of my gimmicks combined into one. So really awesome to have that book. And then the last one is the weirdest one. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Adventures. It just says 183 issue miniseries. Story by Dan Slott, cover by Ron Lim. Year of the Turtle. Oh my God, there's so many gimmicks going on here. But look at this thing. Oh, and then once again, newsstand. Yeah, another newsstand book. But there's like some fake generic Power Rangers that are fighting. So I think we'll have to review this book. It looks just crazy. So, and you got Dan Slott on an Archie comic, on a Turtles comic. I don't know how they wrote Ron Lim into this thing. So I need to check this out. This is crazy. So yeah, that looks really awesome. So that was my Turtles haul that I got on eBay. Let me find a home for this. I guess the floor will have to do for now. Before I go into my antique shop haul, let's go back into the chat because we did have some more people hopping in. Big thanks, guys, for joining me on this wonderful Tuesday evening. We got Prowler 671. What's going on, Prowler? Nice to see you in the chat. Speaking of Prowler, I just got done beating the Miles Morales Spider-Man game on PS5. If you guys haven't played that, if you got PS4, just go ahead and grab it. It may be better than the first one story-wise even. I was blown away how good the story was in the new game. I'd expect a great gameplay, of course, but they may have outdid the other one, which is saying a lot because that other game was amazing as well. And we got JB Disco, Discovery Bay Comics. What is going on, man? He just put out a video himself today, so I still got to check that because, like I said, I've been playing Spider-Man all day. We still got Comic Man Andy hanging out, Scott Evans hanging out for sure. Big thank you guys once again. So we're going to get into my antique shop hauls because I had the day off. I got bored. I was like, I could go to Half Price Books, but I actually skipped Half Price Books this week because you never know when these places are going to be forced to shut down again or anything like that. And I wanted to make sure I at least visited these shops because they're an hour away from me. It is a little bit of a chore to go to. But I wanted to make sure I got one more visit in for the year. And they didn't disappoint. I was a little worried because I just went there a month ago. I didn't know if he refilled it. Oh my God. Like this is store 1 of 2. So I definitely was not disappointed. Before I keep going, we got Midwest Scotsman in the chat. What is going on, man? And we still got Spidey fan hanging out as well. And now I do have a commission after all this too. I got a commission in the mail this week, so I still got that to show. But we'll rapid fire these bad boys. Another Turtle book. I might already own this one. I don't know, but it's a cool Brandon Peterson Michelangelo cover. So for $2, I wasn't going to leave that laying in there. Most of the stuff's going to be run filler for me. I got an Amazing Spider-Man 274. Do not have this one in the collection. I just kind of like how this was released in like, the rich copper age of Spidey, but it definitely looks like, it's a throwback to the silver age Spidey stuff. So thought that was cool. Once again, probably a double for me, but I couldn't leave this stuff laying in there. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 6. I think this is probably the start of their second story arc in the IDW run. So this stuff, if you see the IDW stuff, just buy it. It's really good. We got Earth X 0 and Earth X number 1. I actually don't own the Earth X stuff. So when I saw the first couple of issues, I wasn't going to leave those laying for $2 for sure. So this is on my most read pile. This is the very high up on my read pile. I really need to read Earth X. I almost bought this earlier in the day for like $5. I'm kind of glad I left it in the other shop because for some reason in this shop, he had it for $2, and that's Thunderbolts number 1. So I've been kind of looking for this book for a minute just because why not? So $2 for a Thunderbolts number 1. Thought that was cool. Here are 2 covers I didn't have. I really like, the Jeff Loeb, Jim Lee Batman run. And for whatever reason, way back when I finished collecting that run, I left these covers on the shelf and I never really saw them until today for $2. So there's the Villains Gatefold cover for $6.19. So that's really awesome. And then I think this one, I don't know if this one's getting heat or whatever, but it looks really awesome. I've never noticed Joker's shirt either. It's the second printing of Batman 619, where Riddler's playing that chess game with Batman. I just love Joker's shirt. It says, I killed Jason Todd. All I got was this lousy t-shirt. So I've never seen that before, but that is really awesome. So I was very happy to find that. Jim Lee, of course, just like Spidey fan said, Jim Lee, one of the GOATs for sure. Here is Amazing Spider-Man annual number 19. Just a really awesome Mary Jane cover with some Ramita on there as well. So just a beautiful copy of that. Probably my 3rd or 4th copy of this one as well, but I refuse to leave Turtles in $1, $2, $3 bins now. That's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles issue number 43. So I think, like I said, this is probably my 3rd copy of this in like a month, but I got to make sure I don't leave these laying. Got to catch them all, I guess, as they say in the world of Pokemon. I have had really good luck getting these B covers on Green Lantern Corps. Here's Green Lantern Corps issue 36. I believe this was a 1 in 10 cover by Rodolfo Migliari, who was an awesome artist. He did the Emerald Knights run that followed this one up as well, but just a really awesome cover of Sinestro and his daughter right there. So Sinestro being creepy, though. Here is Captain Atom issue number 84 with some classic Blue Beetle. I guess he was just selling this for $2 because I had this really annoying 31-cent sticker on the book, but dang, otherwise this is a pretty nice copy for, the Charlton modern comics, because usually they're beat up and yellowed and all that stuff. But besides that one sticker, this is in pretty good condition. Just look at our boy Ted Cord at the bottom there. This is awesome. It's another random $2 one I found. Mighty Thor 339 Beta Ray Bill stuff. So I have 337 obviously already. So figured why not get 339. And then he had an older Thor in there, issue 271 from 1978. $2. I wasn't going to leave that laying in there. And then I got a whole bunch. Well, by whole bunch, I mean 5 issues of X-Men run filler. So still trying to complete the Claremont marathon of X-Men, basically. So I was missing 198. Really awesome Barry Windsor Smith art on that. We got 192 John Romita Jr. art on that one. 189, which I almost accidentally bought twice, but luckily I had the wherewithal to take the lesser condition one out of my stack and keep this one. We got 176. And then the last one, once again, Barry Windsor Smith on 174. So 5 more Uncanny X-Men off of the list. Hopefully I remember to edit the list before my next trip anywhere. Otherwise, I'll probably be buying those again. You guys will be seeing those in a future pickups video. All right. So remember how I said there were 2 versions of the TMNT movie adaptation? Well, apparently that was a lie because I found this one at the other shop today. So once again, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the movie, the comic adaptation. And this, I think, is the color printing of the Mirage, but it was done by Archie. So combine the 2 from previously and you get this one, I guess, or it's just a complete reprint of the Archie. I don't know, but all of a sudden, this week I have 3 versions of TMNT, the movie, in comic book form. There's nothing wrong with that. That's absolutely awesome. So there's that. Surprisingly, he has some Batman Silver Age in his bin. So I got Batman 199. Been a while since I've been able to find some Silver Age bats. It has been too long. We got more Strange Adventures 212. Couldn't remember if I had this one, but for like $3, I wasn't going to leave Silver Age Neil Adams there. I will buy that twice. But yeah, just an awesome art on that. Run filler of Phantom Stranger for me. I needed an issue 13. So happy to take that off the list, even though I think he charged me $5. $5. So expensive. Here's a cool one. I've always kind of wanted to get this book through a dollar bin. I feel like, most of these Topps comics I should be able to obtain for $1 or, less basically. But this one, it's elusive because of the cover artist basically. But it's Lady Rawhide #1, and it's Adam Hughes, of course. And he got Mike Mayhew art on the inside. So there's a lot of beautiful art on this Lady Rawhide. It was $3, so I threw it in the pile because why not? More Silver Age Batman, issue number 174 right there. So like I said, I'm so happy to see. It has been like probably almost 2 years since I've been able to buy Silver Age Batman. I feel like it's been quite a while. We got Web of Spider-Man 32, Part 4 of Kraven's Last Hunt, which you probably will be hearing a little bit when I get into the top 10 list. But for $3 for a Kraven's Last Hunt issue, I'll buy this again and again all day. That's a no-brainer. This book here was actually on like a list I wanted to get. Like this wasn't just one of those ones like I guess I'll pick that up, or I've been looking for this book for quite a while, and I finally found it for $3. And it's a fairly minty quality copy of it. And that is Action Comics 583, the final part of Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow. I am so happy to finally add this book into the collection. I've needed it for a long time. I have the other Alan Moore Supermans, but for whatever reason, I just never see the copy of this I want, basically. Usually if I see it, it's a little bit more or the condition's not great. But $3 for this one, I was ecstatic. This made it worth the trip alone for me, just this one book, right? Even though it's probably not worth more than $10 to most people. Like this is just one of those stories I want to make sure I added to the collection. I was so happy to finally find this copy. So yeah, Action Comics 583, basically like the last of Silver Age Superman, my opinion. Great story. Going back, I found a Strange Adventures 200, Carmine Infantino on that one. So really getting into collecting these older Strange Adventures as well. We got the Flash issue 176. Thought that was a decent quality copy for $3, so I threw that in the pile. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe this is the first appearance of Killer Frost for $5. So Firestorm issue number 3. Yeah, I've seen this on many a wall, and I was kind of surprised this wasn't in his glass case marked up. Of course, the bottom is kind of not in the greatest of condition, but the rest of the book looks pretty solid, to be honest. So yeah, I was kind of shocked that he didn't charge more for this copy. I guess he just didn't like the condition on the bottom of the book. And then this was just a fun one to throw in because why not? It brings back memories of, the CBS cartoons when I was kids. Cadillacs and Dinosaurs #1. It was a $3 book. I was just like, I kind of hesitated to get it, but it was just like, you know what, screw it. I've never seen this book before. It's Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. We're throwing it in the stack. So I was happy to see that. So that was my big haul for the week. Before we get into the commission piece I got in the mail, let's go ahead and get back into the chat. We got Drew Manchu, baby. What is going on, Drew? Once again, check out Modern Men. The link is down below, just in case you guys missed it. We got JLS Comics. What is going on, Jesse? Nice to see you in the chat tonight. We still got Midwest Scotsman hanging out in the chat. He says, any Craven's Last Hunt is a steal for $3. Absolutely agree. I even bought, like, The Amazing Spider-Man. I think it was part 2 for $5, and I thought that was a good deal on its own. And we just joining us in the chat, we got K. Titus from the land of the rising sun. Konnichiwa, my friend. How are you doing, K. Titus? Of course, Chris Barrett, Scott Evans, been hanging out since the start of the show, as well as Comic Man Andy. And just joining us, we got the Mastodon. What is going on, Donnie? He's hanging out in the chat tonight as well. All right, so I think it was in September, maybe even August, I hit up artist Chris Campana, and he did a really awesome headshot in my sketchbook of Mum-Ra, the Ever Living. And I've always, I was really impressed with his work and the price, and I've always wanted to get, something a little bit bigger and badder from him, basically. And I'm slowly trying to get my wall filled with TMNT figures. So I have a Casey finally. I got in April. It's probably going to be a long time before I see that because the artist is overseas and he can't travel right now because of COVID, obviously, and he's not going to cons because of the same reason. So I was just like, what other characters am I missing? Because obviously I have the Turtle Brothers. I have a Shredder. I even got a Krang in the book now. Slash. I didn't have Slash in the collection, so I figured he would, based on the work that he did on Mum-Ra, Chris Campana, I figured be a pretty good artist to do a Slash. And I got this in the mail a couple days ago, and there's Slash. So I ordered a full body from him, and he said he would be very happy to do it. And I was very happy with the results, just the detail and the background and everything. Yeah, so TMNT, another one off the list. I don't even know. I guess I got to go maybe Bebop and Rocksteady next from an artist. But yeah, I was extremely happy to get Slash in the collection. And he was also nice enough to throw in a print as well. He actually kind of used the print as the packing material for the sketch. But yeah, I was free print. Hey, that never hurt anybody either. So it's got all 4 Turtle Brothers in their classic red bandana. So now I need to find a home for this on my wall. But just a really, I think I actually almost bought this off of him at Cincinnati a couple of years ago. But yeah, Slash, I'm so happy with this. I think, yeah, this will probably have to go downstairs. I'm running out of room up here, and I got to apply all of the other art back on from being on Comic Books NYC's original art hour still. So kind of got stuff everywhere. I almost need a vacation again just to get reorganized from stuff I've been taking down off of the walls. We got my first subscriber ever. Fish Tropic is in the chat. What is going on, man? Once again, big thanks to Fish Tropic for the awesome AOK a couple of weeks back. I got stickers now with Fish Tropic's logo. See, it matches up right there. We got cool Slimers in the background from Fish Tropic. So there you go. Fish Tropic, one of the best. He goes next to the Pet Rock over there that Catrin Figures gave me. All right. So like I said, I was trying to rapid fire through all the pickups because I want to talk some Copper Age comics with you guys. So once again, shout out to Rob Worst and the Not Near Mint Wednesday show crew. They've been doing an awesome job giving their list of their top 10 books. And it's really encouraged me to think about what are my top 10 modern age books, Copper Age, Bronze Age, so on and so forth. And last week I did Modern Age, so you guys can check that one out on the Rewind. And for the Copper Age list, I know there's going to be several books I'm missing or anything like that. So basically what I did to make this list, I kind of tried to come up with what are the first 10 books that's going to come to my mind that are synonymous with my love of the Copper Age. And a little bit of it, like I said last week, a little bit to do with, value and rarity, of course, storyline wise, importance, all that stuff. It's all that stuff combined into one mainly. So hopefully you guys will enjoy my version of the list. If you guys make your own list or at least put your own suggestions in the live chatter list, I would definitely be interested to hear about your guys' list. So let me check the chat before I get into some honorable mentions here. We still got Comic Man Andy hanging out. Big Time Fish Tropic still in the chat. We got TiVo from Lords of the Long Box. What's going on, TiVo? He says Copper and Bronze Age are his favorite eras. Yeah, absolutely. Like, it seems like the older I get and the more into my collecting I get, I keep going back to the 70s and 80s like all day, every day. Like when I go to these antique shops and stuff, like I love just building my collection around Bronze and Copper Age. Like specifically, like maybe the Bronze Age a little bit more, but the Copper Age, it pretty much is responsible for the way stories are told now, in my opinion. So I think my list should reflect that. Chris Barrett says, Fish has stickers and I have a business. Oh, I need a Chris Barrett business card at some point. All right, we're going to get into some honorable mentions here. And yeah, it was kind of tough weeding some things up, but kind of like last week, I didn't want to make this like an all TMNT list or an all Superman list or an all Batman list. So I don't think there are writers this time, though, that make multiple appearances, of course, because when you talk Copper Age, there's a few writers that are just synonymous with the Copper Age that have to be on there a couple times, in my opinion. So we'll go ahead and get into a few honorable mentions here. This one is mainly just for me because I love this book as a kid, and then just the whole crisis on the Crimson Kryptonite stuff. But it's Superman issue 50, and shout out to my friend, the Poor Man's Comics, if he's watching out there. He's the one who let me know about this book once I picked it up. This is the rare, hard to find second print newsstand that was a ghost for the longest time, but I think the more people are getting familiarized with, some of these odder books, they're becoming more known about, basically. So if you ever see one that says historic engagement issue, that signifies this the second print. Usually it has like a direct edition logo, but this one does have the newsstand. So probably my favorite newsstand book in my whole collection for sure. So Superman 50, I just had to throw that in the list. I know most people probably consider that like a dollar book typically, but even as a kid, I actually have like my other one signed by Dan Jurgens, Brett Breeding. This is the one where he reveals his identity to Lois at the end. So for me as a little kid, that was a big deal. This next one, it almost made the list, but I know it was originally released over on the other side of the pond in the Bronze Age, but it really came to significance in the Copper Age. So I decided to keep it as an honorable mention. V for Vendetta #1. Just got a chance to read this over on JP's Budget Collects channel. Really awesome Alan Moore. It's must read, of course. So threw that in the honorable mention, but I did almost put it in the list. We got Batman 357. First appearance, little pipsqueak Jason Todd. And then you got Killer Croc in there too. But yeah, this just started the fun craze that was Jason Todd of, eventually getting to vote with your quarters and killing them off. And then the whole genesis of the Red Hood going into the 2000s. All started with his first appearance right here. So I was happy to add this book in the collection about last year. And then another honorable mention, it's kind of hard not to put this one in there. But a previous issue of this pops up, of course. Swamp Thing #37. Drew, hopefully you're still watching. First appearance of your boy Hellblazer, John Constantine. This was one of those books. I got almost the whole run of Swamp Thing I wanted from Alan Moore. This book eluded me, but luckily last year I found it for a solid deal. So, and it's in a pretty solid condition too. So Swamp Thing 37, honorable mention. And then these last two, it was kind of tough leaving these out, but at the end of the day, like, yeah, I mean, we got Secret Wars #8, black costume. I actually decided not to go with, any of the black costume origin or first appearance stuff. I almost put 252 in my top 10 list. I actually just ended up leaving that on my wall downstairs. But yeah, kind of difficult not to just put this in the top 10. Actually, one of my rare graded books that I own, 8.5 on that. And then probably this one was like the biggest soul crusher to me, having to leave this off the top 10. But like I said, I only wanted to put one Batman book on the top 10. And if you guess what, you know what this is, you're going to guess what the other one's going to be on the top 10, basically. But I just feel like the other book was too important to leave off. But the honorable mention had to go to The Killing Joke. Can't believe I had to leave Killing Joke off this list. This is one of my all-time favorites. You guys probably heard the story before a million times from me. Had this book since I was a kid. Bought it at a flea market for like $3, $4, $5, something like that. I don't remember. But when CGC was like starting to exist, I was at a con. Like, I may as well take Killing Joke with me and get it graded because it was one of my favorite books at the time. So, yeah, what can I say about Killing Joke that hasn't been said already? Once again, Alan Moore, Brian Boland at his finest. Tough to leave that one off the top 10, but yeah, very, very difficult to choose 10 coppers. Before we get into number 10, let's go into the chat because we got Gore Vidal joining us. What is going on, man? This is good evening. Tough to choose top 10 from the Bronze Age. Absolutely. Like I said, I just like the first 10 books that hit my mind. Of course, debated them, but at the end of the day, I feel like this is my top 10 in my collection. Lords of the Long Box, Tivo says, man, this makes me want to do a video, but I'm too lazy. Yeah, I almost just didn't do this, but I was like, once I started thinking about it, I just kept thinking about it. I'm like, screw it. I'm just going to do it anyway. All right. So, and the order of these, maybe the top 3 or 4 I tried to rank, but it was kind of like nigh impossible to pick the ranking of these. So number 10 may not be, the 10th best or 10th worst, but I wanted to pick at least one X-Men book to put on this list. And how do you pick just one X-Men? And I went with the one that eluded me for the longest time, and I've wanted since I was a kid. Kind of like I was talking about that first Impulse last week. It just kept eluding me. In the realm of Uncanny X-Men and trying to collect that issue 94 through 300, the one Copper Age X book that eluded me for the longest time, I finally was able to obtain last year, was the Uncanny X-Men issue 266. First full appearance of Gambit. If you guys want to debate the cameo and full appearance, the other one's over there signed by Arthur Adams. So I got both of them. So, but I only wanted to put one on there. I thought about putting 268 with the awesome Jim Lee cover where you got Cap, Black Widow. That's probably my personal favorite issue I've read out of that run. But I went with 266 just because, like, I felt like the day I got this was like, I can get the rest of this run no problem now because this was literally like the only one that was eluding me besides, obviously all the Bronze Age ones, X-Men 94, X-Men 101, all that stuff. So still looking for those, but that Bronze Age stuff, that's for like next week. So number 10, X-Men 266. Number 9, like I said, I wanted to put a Superman on there. And I almost dang pulled out that Superman book from my antique shop haul today, but at the end of the day, I went with the one I feel like is the stronger single issue read. As a matter of fact, I think this is one of the top single issue reads of all time. And that's Superman Annual number 11 for the man who has everything. So just an awesome tell of Mongol putting that plant on Superman and making him dream this, impossible dream that, he really wants deep down. But the soul crushing fact that he can't have it really gets Superman in a rage once Batman and Robin get that thing off of him. So Alan Moore at his finest here. You're going to hear the name Alan Moore a lot in this list. I'm warning you now. If you don't like Alan Moore, number 1, I'm sorry. Number 2, what's wrong with you? But anyway, Alan Moore, Superman at its finest. Love that book. One of my favorites of all time. Number 8, once again, how do you pick one Daredevil book? I just went with the first part of Daredevil Born Again, issue 227. Phenomenal Daredevil run. If you ever want to, if there's like a dictionary, we could look up Daredevil. This book should just be the description of why Daredevil is awesome. It's Daredevil versus Kingpin at his finest. The best Kingpin tale, in my opinion, it's ever been told. You get to see why you don't want to piss off Kingpin. He will ruin every aspect of your life just for his enjoyment, basically. So I had to put Daredevil 227 on the list. My favorite Daredevil read. And there's a lot of great Daredevil reads. Like it was hard to pick one, but I had to go with Born Again, of course. Before I get into number 7, let me say to hi some more people in the chat. We still got Lords of the Long Box, Gore Vidal, Midwest Scotsman still in the chat. We got Jester Rican in his comics. What is going on, Rod? Nice to see you in the chat. We also got JoJo from Flicks and Comics. What is going on, JoJo? She had an awesome show with Stay Puft 1983 over the weekend. I watched like pretty much that whole thing while I was doing like chores and stuff in the background. So Awesome show. If you guys hadn't had a chance to catch that over on Stay Puft's channel. Mastodon says Alan Moore's work, but him not so much. You're right. I get that completely. He has kind of lost his mind over the last several decades. But yeah, and of course, Fish Tropic still hanging out in the chat as always. Continuing on, we're actually going to read this next one on Modern Men next Monday. And this was a prize winning from the Boy Who Had Sevens contest way back when. So shout out to Matt from the Boy Who Had Seven. I always think of him every time I see this book, but this is Tales of the Teen Titans, issue number 44, where you get to see Robin become Nightwing, get the first Jericho, and you get the awesome Judas Contract storyline. So a lot of really, really good stuff coming out of this issue. Had to get that double signed by Marv Wolfman, George Perez on that one. But yeah, this is the Titans tale if there ever was one. You get Tara, that little bucktooth, crazy, stupid girl, backstabbing the team because she's sleeping with Deathstroke, and that's a whole creepy side story altogether. And then you have a broken version of the Titans trying to fight Deathstroke and all this other stuff that's going on with. I still need to reread it still, but yeah, great issue right there. Absolutely awesome. Let's see, and then like I said, you were going to hear about this one again. We got Amazing Spider-Man 293, and I didn't pick part 2 for a reason. I just really like Craven's Last Hunt. Probably my favorite cover of Craven's Last Hunt. But yeah, I could have picked any of the 6 issues of this at this spot. But yeah, I wanted to make sure at least one of these got on the list. So my one Spider-Man had to go to Craven's Last Hunt. Just an excellent story. Great Mike Zeck covers on top of it. J.M. DeMatteis at his finest, of course, right there too. But yeah, I just went ahead and put Spider-Man 293 on the list at this spot because absolutely amazing. Oh, don't start with that George Who stuff. I think Drew's already left. All right, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 books left. We still got Scott Evans hanging out in the chat. He does like, yeah, that was your suggestion for Modern Men, Judas Contract. So big thanks to Scott Evans for that suggestion. He's part of the reason we're going to be reading that next week. Jojo says, thanks for hanging out with us on Saturday. Oh, it was my pleasure. That was a great show. And like I said, I love those type of shows where I can just turn it on, get some stuff done around the house, and have a great conversation going on in the background. Number 5, like I said, if I had number 1 issue of this series, it would be all 10 spots, but I do not have that. So, and in the honorable mentions, I could have filled it with Turtles as well, but I just left them on the shelf. I just wanted to show off this one Turtle book. Shout out to my boy, Who Dat Comics and Movies, for selling me this at a phenomenal deal. He still gives me crap about it that I got this from such a good deal from him. He told me I owe him like $200 the other day, and we just laughed it off. But I got the Raphael Micro Series one-shot. So, of course, first appearance of Casey Jones. They just recently reprinted this as well in a really cool Raphael one-shot from IDW. I had to pick one Turtles for this list because why not? Love these magazine format originals. I would buy these again and again if I saw them for a reasonable price, but I'm just going to stop manhandling this and put it down now because everyone keeps inflating the price on those. So we're going to put that down. All right. Once again, we're going Alan Moore for number 4 again. And this isn't even going to be the last you see of Alan Moore. Saga of Swamp Thing, issue number 21. If you guys read or listened to my October Reads feature last month, you guys know that I absolutely love this book. Once again, Alan Moore killing it in the single issue game. If you're going to read one non-Bernie Wrightson Swamp Thing ever, I highly suggest Saga of Swamp Thing, issue number 21. This book is amazing. It shows you why Alec Holland and Swamp Thing are perhaps 2 different characters. It shows you why Swamp Thing is, kind of a tragic character, why he's a monster, and why he's getting ready to start this amazing journey into getting his humanity back, even though debatably he never had humanity to begin with. A lot of crazy stuff going on here. And not to mention the Floronic Man and what's his name? I can forget his name right now. But the other side characters of Swamp Thing are all in here, minus Abigail Arcane, of course. But yeah, some of the best Swamp Thing you'll ever read. Swamp Thing 21. Had to put Alan Moore Swamp Thing on the list. these top three, like these are the ones I'm just like, what's going to be number one, number two? Like at the end of the day, I just went with what was the most important to me, I guess. So I think 2 and 3 should be like 1 and 2 on most people's list, but the number one is my personal number one, basically. So we'll go into number 3, and I do want to get back in the chat to say hi to some more people. Number 3, and like I said, this could have been a number 1 or number 2 easy. Batman: The Dark Knight Returns at number 3. This was a no-brainer. This one had to be on the list. This book reinvented Batman as we know him now. Batman has not been the same since Dark Knight Returns. Frank Miller, maybe his best creation ever. Maybe, I don't know, Sin City's great too, of course. Elektra is great, of course, and that whole Daredevil run he had. But Dark Knight Returns, every time I think Frank Miller, this is what I think of every single time. And, you know, I always liked having this book. I had it as a kid. My brother actually got the whole run for me for a Christmas present when I was a kid. So it's probably the best Christmas present he's ever got me. So I had to put these all on the wall. But, yeah, the importance of this book, this was a 1-2 punch of just basically comics going from the Bronze Age, transitioning from Copper, and really what would be the storytelling format of the modern age. In my opinion, this is one of the 2 forefathers of the way stories are ingested now in comics, basically. So this book deserves all the credit, in my opinion. All right, before we get into number 2, let's hop into the chat. We got Gomez Comic Collector. What's going on, Gomez? He says, broski, let's go. So Gomez, one of the best in the community for sure. Happy to see him in the chat. And Gore Vidal dropping some knowledge here. He says, Gaiman wouldn't have written Sandman. Was it for Alan Moore writing Swamp Thing? And yeah, I told you I was going to forget one book, because guess what? Sandman's still filed over there somewhere. That probably would have replaced my X-Men number 10. Hey, the honorable mention is Sandman. Sandman's great. Love Sandman. I just didn't think of it, so it didn't get put in the list. So there you go. If I'm missing one book debatably is probably Sandman number 1 or Sandman number 8, First Appearance of Death. I got them both back there. But yeah, that's one. If I could repeat this list real quick, I would probably just run and go get that. And then he says, it was in 1983 that Gaiman didn't know what kind of writer he wanted to be. Then he picked up Alan Moore's Swamp Thing and was amazed. You could do that in comics, he asked himself, and the rest is comic history. Absolutely. Like I said, Alan Moore Swamp Thing. One day I'm going to I think I've read up to issue 50. I need to finish the fight there, basically. All right, number 2. And this was a tough, like I said, this probably should have been number 1, but at the end of the day, I started to think about like why I still collect comics, and that's why I picked my number 1. But number 2 is Watchmen number 1. This one probably should have been number 1, like I said. I absolutely love this book. Once again, what can I say about this book that hasn't been said already? This thing is studied in college courses. It is assigned homework in schools, colleges, that is. It's became an awesome HBO TV series, which I just got on Blu-ray last week as well because I was on a Black Friday sale. And what the things he did with the characters, like it still astounds me that like he was going to take these Charlton characters and make this like gritty look at superheroes, and then he was told like, nope, you can't have those. And then he's like, oh, we're just going to make our own characters. And then boy, they succeed in that assignment. So Watchmen, along with this, of course, and yeah, I didn't mean to pick up Swamp Thing, but yeah, I can be in there too. This is the reason books are the way they are now, in my opinion. These 3 right here. So Dark Knight Returns, Saga, Swamp Thing, and Watchmen. Easy list right there. But the number 1, like I said, I think it definitely deserves to be on the top 10 list. It's my number 1 because it really kept me going into hobby when I was a kid. I started off with The Death and Return of Superman, The Reign of the Supermen, and got into Green Lantern a little bit because that was tied into that. And I really was craving this DC Universe knowledge. And every time I would dig deep into what a character is or what a storyline or where this came from, it all stemmed from this story. So that is Crisis on Infinite Earths, and I've decided to pick issue number 1, the start of the whole thing. Of course, got that double signed by Wolfman and Perez as well. But yeah, everything, even now in DC lore almost pretty much stems off of this crazy book that Marv Wolfman had to come up with, where they basically just told Wolfman Perez, like, look, our continuity doesn't make sense. We have all these new properties like the Charlton characters, the Captain Marvel family. None of this makes sense to anybody. We have like 50 years of continuity no one can make heads or tails of. Can you guys figure out how to get this into one streamlined continuity? And they did it in 12 issues. So I will forever respect these creators because of what they did with Crisis on Infinite Earths, to the point now where like the comics DC publishes, they still reference Crisis on a regular basis. So the importance of this is very high in my opinion. This pretty much kicked off the modern age, in my opinion, even though it's, copper. So like I said, it goes along with these other books too. So this is my number one, my favorite artist of all time's on it. My favorite storyline of all time had to be on my list. So that is my top 10 list. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the picks. Definitely let me know what I forgot. I kind of feel like a dummy not putting Sandman number 1 on my list now, or Sandman number 8. So there are definitely a lot of great books I probably didn't put on my list. I'm curious to see what you guys have on your top 10 list. But before we go, I do want to get into the chat one more time. We got Donnie taking off. Later, Mastodon. Thanks for popping in the chat. No problem, Gomez. Like I said, Gomez, comic collector, definitely one of the best in the community for sure. We still got Midwest Scotsman. He's just not popping up on the StreamYard side just yet. Scott Evans still hanging out in there. It's time for dessert. Scotsman says, first continuity reset with such huge deal. Now to do it. Right. Yeah, exactly. They just do it way. It's too diluted now, basically. They do it like every 5 years, basically. But yeah, big thanks, guys, for joining me. A lot of awesome people in the chat tonight. Hopefully you enjoyed the massive, insane, stupid-sized haul I had. And maybe I might keep this going. I think next week, if I get time, I'm going to sort out my Bronze Age. So I would definitely want to hear your guys' suggestions of what would be on your top 10 Bronze Age. So leave them in the comments below, or just throw them in the chat real quick before I hit sign off. But big thank you guys once again for checking out the channel. Once again, link is down below if you guys missed Modern Men episode 58. We reviewed Future and Perfect, the Hulk storyline, as well as kind of talking about some of the unpopular opinions we have in our comic collecting. Next week on Modern Men, we will be reviewing the Judas Contract, Teen Titans, and we'll see. Actually, we won't be live this Friday on the Comic Core. It's Bat Friday, so definitely check that out as well. But until next time, guys, big thanks. I'll see you next time.